Hello, personal productivity enthusiasts and community. Welcome to Anything But Idle, the Productivity News Podcast. I'm Ray Sidney-Smith,
And I'm Augusto Pinaud.
and we're your hosts for Anything But Idle. This is episode 78, and we're recording this for September 6th, 2021, introducing release notes. So, of course, each week, Augusto Pinaud and I review and discuss the productivity and technology news headlines of the week. But this week, we're taking off for the US Labor Day holiday. And so instead, we're covering notable productivity software releases over the past month as an introduction to a new segment we're going to be doing in our regular shows that we're going to be calling release notes. So in essence, we track all of the various productivity apps out there, and if we're missing any, let us know. We'll continue tracking those as well. And when they update them, we will produce a document, and that's available to you inside of Personal Productivity Club. And so if you join Personal Productivity Club, you'll see and find links to those documents with the show. So it's going to be a little bit different than our normal show notes, because those show notes will be only available within Personal Productivity Club in the Anything But Idle channel. And so with that, let's get into the release notes for this week. So what we're going to do is just highlight some of the releases that various productivity technologies have put out each week. And so we've looked back for the entire month of August, since we've not done this before, and we just wanted to highlight a few of the releases that have come out. And so we've got some releases from Apple with Test Flight to Asana and other tools. So let's start off with our first one. Augusto, what is our first release this week?
So our first release this week is Test Flight 3.2 beta. And for the first time, Test Flight comes to the Mac. If you don't know what Test Flight is, Test Flight allows developers to give access to software in a secure way to people who is willing to test and to people who is willing to play with the betas or even their own team. But these are something that have existed on the iPad and the iPhones, I don't know since when, for a really long time, but never on the Mac. And it was announced in June that Test Flight was going to be available on the Mac, and finally is out. So this allowed people to test software in a secure way, for you get them feedback directly to the developer, but also to get the updates really, really efficiently. And it's a really an incredible tool if you are in the game of working and helping developers.
Yeah, Apple's done a really great job with Test Flight on iOS, and so bringing this to the Mac OS platform just seems like a natural extension. I actually didn't realize they didn't have it before, so I'm glad to see them go ahead and bring Test Flight to Mac OS, and I'm looking forward to testing some software in it. All right, so next up we have some release notes from Asana, and Asana has been busy, and so we're just going to cover those items. Asana has put out something called a company goals tab, and literally reading their release notes, it says the goals view now contains two tabs: company goals and team goals. So you can view your company's mission and goals, choose which team goals you want to view, and filter by goal or goal owner or status. So you can basically toggle between those two tabs so you can see your various companies' missions and goals, as well as the team's goals as well, which is really nice. Asana has also added an easy to access do not disturb feature on desktop. Asana now has a desktop application. Again, like many other applications across the ecosystem, they have adopted using the Electron.js application framework. And so they've published an Asana app, and so you can have it on macOS and desktop, macOS and Windows. And so now you can go ahead and check that little do not disturb setting so that it doesn't notify you while you're in flow, so to speak. Next, they have put out a multi-select feature so that you can select multiple tasks on iOS. So to date, you've not been able to multi-select tasks on iOS. I have Asana on my iPad, and it's been quite frustrating because you want to check off several things and make changes. Now you can do those bulk actions via iOS with the new update in my tasks. And then finally, I thought this was really interesting. They have launched a new Academy course, and this Academy course is actually for Asana admins. So if you are the admin for your organization, there is now a new Asana Academy course that really walks you through how to manage your organization's accounts. And that's really great that they're putting together this learning material for folks to be able to, get Asana admins up and running, up to speed. What's next on the release notes,
So
Augusto?
next on the release notes is Draft. And Draft announced that they are launching Google Task and Microsoft To Do integration. Draft is it's an incredible application in the iOS, and you can really integrate with a lot of things on the Mac as well as the iOS. But I think the extensive integration they are putting with Google Task and Microsoft To Do, it is going to be really, really fantastic for the heavy users.
Yeah, I know several people who use drafts in their everyday. It's one of their everyday drivers for capturing and so on and so forth. And this is a great extension to be able to integrate your drafts with Google Tasks and with Microsoft To Do. Very, very excited to hear feedback when people start utilizing that. All right, next up in the release notes is Evernote has released a new widget. If you don't know what that is, Evernote has something called Evernote Home. Home is now a new area within the Evernote application, available both on desktop and mobile. And this is kind of like a dashboard where you can place different types of content into that dashboard. And so they have been putting out new types of widgets which can show different types of information. And the filtered notes widget, when I first saw it, I was confused. I really didn't know why Evernote decided to do this thing. And then they provided it to me and said, just try it, see what it's all about. And I've fallen in love. This filtered notes widget allows you to be able to apply things like saved searches or other kinds of complex filtering so that you can actually see a dynamic list of a set of notes. And that means that now you can pay attention to all kinds of things. If you're an Evernote personal, you can have one of those Evernote filtered widgets notes on your Evernote home screen. If you are on Evernote Professional, then you can have up to 7, as I have learned. So you can have 7 of those filtered notes widgets, which means that if you have different parts of your life and you want to pay attention to all of those things coming into your world, like I have several automations that send notes directly into Evernote. Well, now it's almost like a separate inbox where I can look at that, and when those notes are generated, I can now see them. Or I can do things that are the inverse, which is paying attention to when some amount of time goes by. I want to be able to know that that time has gone by and those notes have had something done to them or have not had something done to them, and therefore I need to give them my attention. So really, really great way to be able to identify information. So that's the filtered notes widget that is now in Evernote Home, and that should be fully released out to everybody that has Evernote Home on Evernote Personal and Professional. And
Our
last
last
but not
news
least, Augusto,
is Zapier and the integration with Timing. Timing is an automatic time tracking app for macOS. And now you can get a full overview of your productivity, see what you're working, when, and not only that, integrate that with using Zapier with other applications, Zapier and Timing together.
yeah, I've not seen many applications that do what timing purports to do, which is basically passively track your activity on macOS and helps you keep a time log so that you're capable of understanding what you're actually getting done on the Mac. And so I've seen many different applications that kind of do it. Of course, there's Rescue Time, which is the primary one that I know everybody pretty much knows about. But having another one out there that's a good competitor to it is nice. It's Mac focused, and so that's just always good to have. And having it connect to Zapier means that as it tracks things, it can grab it and throw it into, say, Google Sheets or into other places, or notify you if it sees you doing something and you want to be able to have some kind of behavioral intervention. Like have a little notification ping you, those kinds of things. I'm really, really excited to see how timing goes, and especially in its integration with Zapier. And so with that is kind of what we're going to do in release notes in the segment that we've introduced to Anything But Idle starting next week. So each week we'll just run through the various products that are out there, and then once a month we'll collect them all together, put them in a document, and then share them into the Anything But Idle group that lives inside of Personal Productivity Club. So if you are not a member of Personal Productivity Club, it behooves you to head on over to anythingbutidle.com/community. I think there's a button there. Click on that. If not, you can just go to www.personalproductivity.club. Go ahead and join the community there so that you can get access to that rundown each month. In the meantime, we are going to go enjoy our Labor Days with our families. And so, Augusto, thanks so much for joining me on this special episode of Anything But Idle, and of course, helping assemble these episodes every week.
Always. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Okay, over on anythingbutidle.com, you'll find our show notes with links to all the stories, tools of the week, extra stories that we didn't cover, and so on and so forth in our regular episodes. In this particular episode, you're just going to find the few highlights that we made, and then the entire August release notes are going to be, again, in Anything But Idle, the group inside of Personal Productivity Club. So you can find that over there. If you have a productivity story or recent blog post you'd like us to discuss, head over to our contact page on anythingbutidle.com, or you can tweet or DM us on Twitter at anythingbutidle. If you have a question or comment about anything we've discussed on this show or any of the shows, feel free to leave a comment on Anything But Idle on the episode page. So this is episode 78. So you'd go to anythingbutidle.com/078 for the episode number. And each of our episodes are numbered that way, so you can jump to the particular one and ask your questions there. If this is your first time watching the live stream, feel free to or the video, that is, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can watch our live streams when we do go live weekly, since this one was pre-recorded. If you are listening to the podcast after the fact, feel free to consider following us in your favorite podcast app. Subscribing to it is easy. Just head over to anythingbutidle.com, click on the subscribe button in the menu, and we have instructions for you to be able to go ahead and follow us and get episodes downloaded for free every week. And so with that, we will see you all next time on Anything But Idle. Here's to your productive life. Take care, everybody.